Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. Today I'm going to talk about abundance and the healing path to abundance in particular. And so everything that we manifest in life is manifested through our energy, our total energy. And so conscious focus is just a part of that energy. And the things from our past that we've not yet released, those things that we haven't forgiven, the things that we haven't healed within ourselves, are still a creative power in our lives. And so this is why when you're doing all the affirmations for abundance, when you're doing that positive focus, yet you're still not experiencing the results from it, this is the reason why, because there's a healing path to abundance too. And so no doubt you've been doing all of these affirmations and trying to experience abundance for yourself, whether that's abundance of friends, whether it's abundance of money, whether it's whatever you want to experience in life. So I want to talk a little bit about abundance, because abundance is often confused with people. And so abundance is available to everybody. And what I mean by that is the universe provides us with everything that we need and want. It has no limitations at all. It can give us any experience that we want, and it does that. And so it just depends on how much we limit ourselves. It depends on how much we allow into our experience. And so many people have issues with abundance, the money kind of aspect of abundance, because of lots of negative beliefs that can come with money or about money, negative experiences that you've had in your life. This just paints a picture about money and about abundance which isn't a good vibration about it, and this vibration just keeps on manifesting. No matter how much conscious work you do towards abundance, to allowing abundance, it will just keep on manifesting because you haven't actually healed the things that are stopping you from accepting it. And so what I want to do is, I've got a program, I've made a program which is a series of video lessons to take you through the healing path to abundance process. So it's not just about the conscious part, it's about the unconscious part, bringing that out into the conscious, working through all the different exercises that I'll give you to do, and that will get you through this process of healing in order that you can experience the abundance that you actually want in your life. And the reason this is so important, and the reason that I'm offering it and wanting to help people with it, is because unless you have a balance in your life, unless you are experiencing balance, unless you are giving as much as you receive and receiving as much as you give, then you're going to get lessons. The universe will give you lessons either way to show you what needs healing. Okay? And so if you're wanting something for nothing, the universe will give you lessons. It will give you lessons to teach you that balance is really what you're after. If you're trying to help people and get nothing back from it, you're going to get lessons. You're going to get lessons that you need to start receiving in balance with what you're giving. Okay, and this is where so many healers in particular and giving kind of people go wrong. They don't realize that it's actually their self-worth issues that are holding them back from giving so much to so many people. They keep themselves at this level of just getting by, just dealing, just helping a few people, because they're not opening themselves up to true abundance, because they're not healing the self-worth issues that are behind that. And so this program, details are below. I've taken this program. I'm going to step you through the process, and it's done in this video format because of course everybody has different issues that are holding them back from it, and so this process allows you to do it in your own time. And so somebody that has like all of the abundance issues, all of the negative abundance beliefs that are possible, all of the negative experiences of abundance, might take some time to go through this process, whereas somebody who just has a little bit of emotional tweaking might get through this process much more quickly. And so it's up to you how fast you get through this process, and you can sign up down below to have this program. And so I want to tell you about my abundance life, because this is how I got to the point of being able to help people with abundance, is by healing myself through it. And of course that's the way we can help everyone as healers, is by applying our knowledge, our wisdom of the experiences that we've had, the processes that we've been through, in order to heal it within ourselves. And so I'll just give you some background to my abundance life. And so Starts off with my parents, of course, because that's where it always starts off. And so my mum, she was born in a poor household, and she always felt that she was worth more, that she deserved more than this poverty kind of experience that she was having. And so she felt like she was a princess born in the wrong kind of family. And so this gave her a desire to want to experience abundance. My dad, again, he was born into a lack kind of family, a poor family, experiencing lack. And he was more of an entrepreneurial kind of spirit, had all of these great ideas, again, great desire to want to experience abundance. And even though he went and worked the majority of his life as somebody else, he still had all of that entrepreneurial spirit behind him. And so these two got together because, of course, they were co-creating. They wanted similar experiences. They had the lessons to give each other in many other areas apart from abundance. And so they got together. And I was born. And so I was born as a creative spirit into a body, knowing who I am, knowing my self-worth. In fact, knowing on such a level my self-worth that even the slightest bit of discomfort or hunger or any kind of a negative feeling at all that I had, I would scream, as all of us have done, scream, because we know as babies our worthiness, and we want something to be fixed. We're worthy of it being fixed as soon as we feel something negative. And so everyone has that experience. We all know our self-worth. So our self-worth starts right up there. It starts completely in line with your higher self, what your spirit, what source knows, and your worthiness is. And so it starts up there, and so did mine. And so as I grew up and started to learn behaviour from my parents about their abundance issues, that started to come down. My self-worth started to come down. And so what went on when I was growing up is that my dad was working and earning quite a lot of money, had really good money skills, as in knew how to handle money, knew how to save money, taught me well about how to handle money in that respect. And yet he still had this feeling that he wasn't worth it, that he still had to kind of prove himself in some kind of way. And so his self-worth wasn't, even though he desired to experience abundance, when he experienced abundance, his self-worth didn't match it. Well, when he experienced money, let's say, his self-worth didn't match that. And so no amount of money could fill that need inside of him. And so as a result, as he's saving, and he would control everyone around him with his money. And so as a family, things like only one person could have something, and everyone else had to give up their desires for one person at a time. And so money was controlled in this kind of way. Things like when it was my birthday, I was told I could either have a party or I could have a present. I couldn't have both. And so my self-worth was coming down. I kept on getting these messages that I wasn't worth it. I'm not worthy of a present and a party. No. I'm not worthy of receiving things without my family being in lack. And so my self-worth came down and down. Of course, they were just operating from their self-worth being right down there as well, and so were teaching me to bring mine down to their level. Completely subconsciously, they were teaching that. Just as many parents do subconsciously teach their issues to their children. And so I went to university, and when I went to university, I met some people there who were having very different experiences than me, and that was a real eye-opener to me. People with different kind of upbringings that had different experiences, didn't have the same issues as I had, and it really opened my eyes that there might be a different way. At the end of my time at university, just before I graduated, I was pregnant with my eldest son. And when I returned home, and so my self-worth had kind of gone up, my self-esteem had gone up while I was at university, self-worth had gone up a little bit, and I'd kind of started to learn who I really was again. went back home and had my son, and of course was told by the family that I shouldn't have been pregnant without getting married, that it was against their religion, that really I wasn't really worthy of having the choices that I had. That was another one. My mum would say I had no choice. When I got pregnant, I had to get married because we were Catholic and we had to. I didn't have a choice. You don't deserve the choice either. And so my self-worth went back down to where it was before. I was on benefits, government benefits, in the first few months of my son's life, and on very little money, but getting by okay. Of course, the financial understandings that my dad had given me helped me to manage money, so I didn't get into debt while I was living on this small amount of money. Got to the point where my son was about 6 months old, and I decided that I wanted to get a job. I wanted to kind of improve my circumstances. I had this wish to experience abundance and to improve our lives. And so what I did was I found myself a job, and this job meant taking this job, even though it was a really good job and it would progress, and it was obvious that it was going to progress quite quickly, that I would progress in that job quite quickly. The money that the job provided me was less than I was getting in the benefits, and that was because, not that the actual amount was less, but the amount that I ended up with was less because I had to then pay somebody to look after my baby while I was at work. And so for the first, I can't remember how long it was in that job, I was living, again, not on credit. I managed to manage my money okay. I was riding around on my bike to work, would put my baby on the back and take him to the childminders and then race off to work and come back. A lot of physical exercise because of that, riding my bike all the time because I couldn't afford a car. And I didn't have the money to eat, and so I was eating toast. Pretty much survived on bread for those first months that I worked there, but still had this kind of feeling in my heart that it was okay because soon I'd get a raise and things would get better and better. And so I knew that, and it was kind of like a challenge too, to be able to live with so few resources available to me. And so sure enough, in time, I started to earn more money. I got promotions and things became easier. And so in my 20s, I worked and started earning a lot more money. Not only that, but I invested the money that I worked for and bought myself a big 6-bedroom house that was dilapidated. And being my family, I was married at this point with 3 children, and we kind of camped in the house while I was doing it up, while we were doing it up, and had builders in and completely redid the house to make it this beautiful kind of house that we wanted to live in. Ended up selling that house for probably 3 times the amount that I bought it for, so it was a really good investment. So I was really good at kind of making money, but I was really unhappy. My self-worth was still right down there on the floor, and no matter how much money I earned, I couldn't fill that void. It wasn't making any difference. In fact, it made me feel like I was getting unhappier and unhappier, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand what was making me unhappy. And so then I started to demonize money, and this is really common in people. You might have experienced this yourself. I started to think that the problem was money itself. And so what I did, because I was desperately unhappy and knew I needed a change, I gave everything up. I finished the marriage and I moved out of that house, and soon afterwards we sold it. I moved into an apartment and I had my children half the time. And because I'd had my eldest son when I was 21, I'd had a long time then, I was just turning 30 at this time, where I'd always had other people to look after. I never had kind of time for myself or space for myself, and suddenly I had space for myself. And one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life, with this space that I had, with this time that I had where I didn't have to do anything for anyone else, yes, I felt the discomfort of it, but what I decided to do to get through that was to meditate, and that was just the best thing that I ever did for myself. I was interested in healing, and so this became my new direction. I went on a spiritual journey, and I gave everything away. I gave my money away because, of course, I thought the problem was money. Gave my money away and used it to fund myself doing charity work. So I got involved in this charity and started funding myself with that, started donating money and wanting to help people, because that's what was really in my heart. I realised, that's what's in my heart. I'm a healer, I want to help people. And so I started helping people despite myself. I started helping people without accepting the return energy back from that. And what I got from that was lessons, huge lessons. Okay, so if you haven't got balance of giving and receiving, you receive lessons. So I'd gone from being quite balanced, really, but not happy because my spirit wasn't shining through, to thinking that money was the problem rather than not following my spirit's path, and got rid of all the money and then tried to start helping people for free, and even just like giving all my money away as if everyone else was more important to me. And of course I did that because my self-worth was right down there on the floor. And so I had lessons. I did the charity work and realised, and I was in Africa, and I realised how arrogant it was of me to think that I could go and help people, because when I was actually living there with them, they had a very nice lifestyle. Very, very different than ours, but once you live it, they have beautiful community, they grow their own food, they don't have pesticides, they don't have half of the problems that we've got, but they do have some health concerns and things like that, and so it pretty much balances up. They've got, I learned that I didn't need to help them, that help hadn't been asked for, and it was just my idea that I wanted to help them, and so that was a big lesson for me. And I started being bullied by the people in the charity. It wasn't enough that I was giving my money, it wasn't enough that I was giving my time. They started wanting more and more, and that gave me this another lesson, in that when you give for nothing, when you give of yourself not expecting anything back, people just want more and more. They want to take more and more from you, and they're not appreciative of it at all. They just want to take more. And of course I was manifesting that. It wasn't them, I was manifesting it because I had really low self-worth. And in fact, one time when I was giving my services to this charity, and I was helping them, I was volunteering, and I decided that I'd help them make money too, and so I was offering my healing services so that they could make money. They got greedy about that too and wanted me to do more and more, and got really upset with me because I wasn't earning enough for them. Rather than appreciating that I was adding extra value, they completely didn't want, or wanted more and more from me. And interestingly enough, when I actually left there, because I had nothing left at this point, they decided to get me a flight to go back home. And when I worked it out, the amount of money that I'd made for them with my healing services was exactly the amount of money that they had paid for my flight to get me out of there. And it just made me laugh at how the universe balances it up. If you're not balancing it up, the universe will do in the end, once you've kind of realised the lesson and moved on from it. And then I moved to Australia, started with my healing business here, again still wanting to help people. I had this idea still, I hadn't really got those lessons. I've learned a little bit about it. I've learned that I didn't want to do charity work anymore. I've learned, that not to get myself in those situations, but I hadn't really learned the wisdom behind it, of the balance. And so I came here, again, wanting to help people. I just wanted to help people. That's my passion. That's what I do. I'm a healer. I love what I do. I want to help people. And I was thinking, it doesn't matter about the money. I just want to help people. And so, of course, same lessons. I'd had people come to me for help, and I was giving them a lot of value. I was giving them great service to help them, but they would complain. they would complain about the prices were too much, even though they were really, really low for what I was doing. And again, found I wasn't appreciated. And of course, it wasn't about them, it was about me. I was manifesting that because I wasn't appreciating myself. I wasn't putting value on myself. I wasn't even valuing my work, which had so much value. And my self-esteem knew that. But my self-worth was still down there on the floor. And so I started Be Healing and started working online with it and getting kind of a little bit more success with that, but still only just getting by, just earning the rent, just earning enough for food, not having anything extra, having a burning desire to want to help so many more people than I was helping, but of course it just wouldn't happen. I was working at a healing centre, and when I was hiring a room from a healing centre, a big percentage went to the healing centre itself with my work. And when I was at that healing centre, I would have full days, and so I would attract toward me clients to fill that day. Yet I would only, from what I was earning, the percentage that I was earning from that would just be enough to get by from. When I decided that I was so busy I should get my own practice and open a shop of my own, in fact shared a space with another, with one other healer, and so I was earning more of a percentage of what I was bringing in. My clients didn't stay full, my clients dropped down. Then I started having only 2 or 3 clients a day. I was earning exactly the same amount of money, and it didn't seem to make sense to me. It's like, why is this happening? I was really busy before, people loved my services, but of course I was earning the same amount of money, just what I needed. And so I had this strong desire to learn about abundance, to sort this out, because I knew that it was really holding me back. I can feel my spirit saying, you're to help millions of people with your work. And I was feeling, I'm ready for it, I'm ready for it. And all the time my guides are saying, you're not ready for it. It came to last year, and I was publishing my book, The Healing Path Within. And I published it, and I thought, great, this is when I get to reach millions of people. And my guide said, no, because millions of people cannot read this book and be helped by this book until you're ready to accept the value that's going to come back to you for helping millions of people. In other words, if I were to sell 1 million books, copies of my book, I would probably make about $10 million, maybe a little bit less, but about $10 million in royalties. And of course, everything else about the business will increase because of that too. And they said, you're not ready. You're not ready to receive that. And I felt ready. I thought, well, I'd love to have 10 million. You know, I thought I was doing all of the affirmations. I thought I was focusing positively, and yet they were still saying that I wasn't ready. And so I was taken through this process of healing, and I'm going to share this process with you. The program below takes you through this very same process of finding out what my worth is according to my higher self, and getting my self-worth to match, getting my human kind of feeling self-worth to match what my higher self knows I'm worth. And so in this process, what I needed to do is to find out how much I was really worth. And what happened was I asked a couple of customers what they would have, how much money they would accept to have all of the help that I've given them taken away from them. And a customer got back to me and said no less than $1 billion. And even then, she wasn't sure that she would accept it, because she didn't want to go back to where she was before she got my help. And that information made me cry. And what I know from my healing work is that when you hear a truth, a higher truth like that, and you're not believing it, your energy doesn't match it, then the distance between the truth and your energy causes this emotional reaction. And what I was thinking about when I started crying was, I wish my family had valued me that much. And there I had it, my clue as to what was going on and what was holding me back. I wish my family valued me as much as my customers do. And that helped me unravel the whole picture, in that I hadn't been realizing that self-worth is completely different than self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself. You can feel that you're really good, but worth, it's like a dollar amount that you have on yourself. It's very different. And what I've noticed is with customers too is that they can have, they can have this burning desire to follow their spirit's purpose. They can have feel really positive about themselves, think that they've got so much to give, and yet they're held back all the time. They've just been given what they need, just what they need, and no more than that. And so you're probably experiencing this kind of thing too. And so that was a huge breakthrough for me, and it has helped me completely shift my experience, and now I'm totally open to new opportunities. As soon as I had that revelation and healed it within myself, I started having people calling me up, people wanting me on my radio shows, people wanting me to come public speaking. Suddenly everyone wanted to promote me as soon as I'd made that healing. As soon as I'd released that whole belief that I wasn't worth it, that my belief matching my family's belief, because that's what had happened. I believed them, and my self-worth was matching what my family had taught me. And so this was huge, and of course now I want to pass this on to you. And so what I've learned about abundance is the universe has all the abundance that it needs to provide us with any kind of experience that we want. We can open up to it. It depends on how much we allow it, and self-worth is a huge one. And beliefs, negative beliefs, are things that hold us back. And so many people have negative beliefs about money, and money is never the problem. So let me tell you a story about these people. There were a group of spiritual people and healers amongst them, and they thought that money was the problem. And so they decided to create this system where they would have, it was like a swap system. People could go to them and find people who wanted to swap services, swap products, that kind of thing. And so they thought, what a great idea, we can get away from evil money and we can do this swap thing. And then as that grew and grew, because of course so many people were a vibrational match to that, so many people thought money was the problem, and so went along with this and wanted to swap things instead. And so this grew and grew, and the organisers of it realised that sometimes, sometimes it might be like a triangle of people that want to exchange services. So someone might have a service, someone might have a product, but they don't. One of them wants their service, but the other one doesn't want their product. They want their product, and they want their service, and all of this. And so they realised that they had to make these notes as to who was going to swap for what, and to kind of balance it all up. And as this grew and grew, they realised that there's different values on things, and so they had to make these notes so that there were different values, so that people could swap them. And before they knew it, they'd created money. They'd invented money all over again, and the universe had showed them this process to show them that money isn't the problem, that money was exactly what they were looking for. It's the way in which you can exchange services and what you want and get the value back. Okay, because not everyone's of equal value. Of course, everybody's spirit is of equal value, but not your services. It depends on how much of your spirit is in it. It depends on how much experience you have. It depends on how, like for a healer, it depends on how much you've healed yourself, how many processes you've been through, how much you do that all the time. It depends on or what things you've been through to be able to heal. It depends on how many people you've helped heal. People's value just is so dependent on how much energy they're giving out. And when you're giving energy out, you need to be able to receive that same amount, that same level of energy back for yourself. One thing that I teach is that your abundance, you'll be given whatever you need from the universe. Okay? So just as wild animals are given all their meals, they're given everything that they need by the universe, so are we. And so this base level that you've been experiencing is just getting by, just the food, the shelter, and that's about it, and you're not getting more. That's you just being given to you by the universe, given what you need. Now, if you are adding value to the universe, and so if you are creating from your spirit and you're adding value and you're helping people, or you have creating a product, or whatever it is that you're doing, you're adding value, then you deserve so much more. You see, then you deserve what you want from the universe. And if you don't accept it, if you don't allow yourself to accept the exchange, the equal exchange of that energy back, then the universe is going to keep you right there at need level, and it's not going to let you rise up and experience abundance until you heal those things that are stopping you from accepting it. And so this is what the program is all about. And so I invite you to join in the program. The video lessons will take you through this whole process. As I said, it can take you a long time, or you can fly through it. It's really up to you. I would suggest taking as much time with each video and each exercise before moving on to the next as you can, because then you're going to get so much more out of it. Also, you can do this as many times, do this process as many times as you want as well, because what I found is when I was healing myself, when I was going through these abundance issues and healing and this path to abundance, I had to repeat things again over and over as my abundance raised, as my abundance level raised, as the level of my accepting and of receiving raised. And so it's good to keep going with it, because we're never done. We're never done. We can always open up to more. And so this program is going to challenge your beliefs about abundance, negative beliefs that you have. It's going to allow you to not only experience abundance for yourself, but it's going to allow what you do, your services, your product, whatever it is that's in your spirit that is so dying to get out there, it's going to let you fly. It's going to let you reach so many more people with it, because I'm going to get you to the stage where you're open and ready to accept the balance of energy that's going to come back to you. And so I look forward to working with you. There is extra help available, so if you're doing the program and you get stuck or need extra help, then I do the weekly webinars. And so every Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday evening for Americans and Canadians is the abundance class webinar, and you can come along to that and ask your questions in that. Or you can get a private session with me, that helps too, and I can help you through some of the beliefs or some of the things that aren't holding you back, in case you're having trouble actually making them conscious. And so sometimes the blocks are actually subconscious, and it's hard for us to reach for them ourselves. And so as I say, I can help you to uncover those and help you to release them. And the book, The Healing Path to Abundance, I'm going to be writing that now. I'll make that available as soon as possible. And so, good luck in your abundance journey. I really hope that you do open up to this and accept that it's yours. If this is on your path, if you're watching this video, then your spirit is wanting you to open up to abundance and be a really magnificent creative force in this world. And so thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with you.